So far, we've learned about Lewis structures, which represent the structure of organic compounds. So if I were to write octane, which has 8 carbons, 8 carbons here, we know that each carbon should have 4 bonds typically. In this case here, the carbon only has 1 bond to the next carbon. So we must add 3 hydrogens to complete those 4 bonds to complete the octet rule. In this carbon here, you have 1 bond to one carbon and 1 bond to the second carbon, which tells you that you need to add 2 hydrogens, and so on, until you get to the end where the last carbon only has 1 carbon connected to it, so you must add 3 bonds with hydrogen. Now, as you can imagine, this took a very long time in order to write it out, because there are 8 carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that takes a very long time, like I said. So us organic lazy chemists over here want to have a better way of writing this. So what we do is we put dots in a zigzag format. For each dot, that represents 1 carbon. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 carbons, and we connect each dot with 1 line. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here, this is what's called the skeletal structure. The skeletal structure has 1 dot, so each end and each corner of the zigzag line represents 1 carbon. So each end and each corner of the zigzag represents 1 carbon. And because we know that each carbon should have 4 bonds, then we do not have to write all of these hydrogens. We just know that at this corner there's 1 carbon and it has 3 hydrogens, just like here. We also have another representation called the condensed structure. And what we do is essentially wherever there's 1 carbon, we want to write the number of hydrogens that's connected to that 1 carbon. So if we're talking about this carbon here, then we have 3 hydrogens. At the second carbon, we have 2 hydrogens, and so on, until we have the complete 8 carbons. And now we're at the 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th carbon, and we're going to the 8th. We want to add the H3 because this carbon here has 3 hydrogens. But we can further condense this structure representation further. Did you notice that there's a repetition here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons that are bonded in the same way? Each of these 6 intercarbons have 1, 2 hydrogens and 1, 2 carbons connected. So in order to condense it even further, I can write CH2, which is the repeating part of the structure, and in parentheses, write outside how many of that repeating part I have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, and I have to write the 2 ends. CH3, CH3. So this would be the correct condensed